Welcome back to Module 9.1, solving linear equations of the form ax equal to c. What that means is basically when we simplify equation down to just two terms, where the variable term is on one side and another constant term is on the other side, then what we can do is divide both sides by the coefficient. So this is basically the very last step when we solving equation. Now in a different module I will show you this is not always the case where even though the last step is still going to be divided by coefficient on both sides, but if I have two different terms, for example, if I would want to solve for y, let me go back here to something I show you. If I want to solve for the variable y, like I showed you in the previous video, in the very last step I will still divide it by the coefficient -3, but I will actually not just have two terms, I will have other terms on the other side of the variable term. So basically for more basic equations, what we normally see at the very end of simplifying the equation is end up with two terms, a variable term on one side, another constant term on the other side. Then it is time to divide it by the coefficient. So make sure there's no parentheses in both terms, because that means you will have to do some distribution. So for this particular problem, -6y equal to -12. So only got two terms, variable term on one side, constant term on the other. So I will divide both sides by -6. -6 divided by -6 will be +1y. So my answer y equals +2. Alright, so in the previous video I also show y'all, and I also try to mention keeping the variable term positive as much as we can, because if I will move my -6y to the right, then that instantly become +6y. So I want my variable term on the right side is because I want to keep it positive. So that means -12 need to be moved over to the left side. So that become +12. So for some reason when we normally divide both sides by the positive coefficient, we're not going to make many mistakes with the sign. Okay, so throughout these module lecture videos, I will do the best I can to always trying to keep my variable term positive as much as I can. I want to show you this next example because to demonstrate variable term can be on the left side or it can even be on the right hand side. So since I got two terms, variable term is by itself, so the only thing I can do here is divide both sides by the coefficient 5. So my answer, y is equal to -2/5. So I always read from the variable. Doesn't matter whether the variable is on the right side or left side. I always read and write from the side where the variable is. Okay, that's just my little pet peeve. All right, when it comes to solving linear equation involving with fractions, again, these problems are different than the one I showed you before, where we clear the fraction or where we work with the fraction. These problems had three terms. Now the one I'm working on right now only has two terms. So the idea is if I only have two terms, variable term on one side, another constant term on the other side, then I am supposed to divide both sides by the coefficient. In this case, it will be -7/4. So we will say divide both sides by -7/4. So -7/4 divided by -7/4 become +1x equals. So here, the right hand side here is basically a -2 divided by a -7/4. So as you can recall in Module 8, negative divided by negative will become positive. So if I do this by hand, division of a fraction means times the reciprocal. So that will be 2, will end up multiplied by 4 over 7. 2 being 2 over 1. The top 2 and the bottom 7 cannot reduce, so we multiply side by side, and that will give me 8 over 7. Alright, if you want to do this in the calculator, let me show you. Remember, negative 2 was there already, so we type in negative 2 divided by open parenthesis. Always trying to enter a fraction in the parenthesis, just to be in case. In case of what, you might ask? Not violating order operation. In case of not violating order operation. So, negative 2 divided by parenthesis, negative 7 over 4. Alright. I'm going to go ahead and convert to a fraction. I like fraction answers. Again, positive a over 7. Alright. So there are different techniques. We can always use a calculator. We can do it by hand, or we can clear the fraction. I can actually clear the fraction here as well. Let me show you how to do that. There's really like 3-4 different techniques. Now, first of all, I see my variable term is negative, so I'm going to move this negative 7 over 3v to the other side. So I'm going to start you off with 7 over 3v equal to, let's move the negative 3 over 5 to the other side, that will become positive. So if I want to use the clear the fraction technique, then I got to multiply all my terms by the LCD. Between 3 and 5, LCD is going to be 15. So if I times the first term by 15, second term times by 15, 15 means over 1. So I can see the top 15, bottom 3 cancels out into 1 and 5. And so now 5 times 7v will give me 35v. Set it equal to, alright, top 5, bottom 15 cancels out. That will give me 1 and 3. And so the 3 times 3 on top is 9. So now I got two terms with no denominators because I just cleared a fraction. So divide both sides by coefficient 35. My answer, v equals 9 over 35. Alright, another technique, which is actually something we talk about in module 4. The 7 over 3v, I'm going to start you off again with 7 over 3v equal to 3 over 5. Alright, 7 over 3v equal to 3 over 5. This v technically is v over 1. 7 over 3 times v means 7 over 3 times v over 1. So what that does is put the v on the numerator. So we can rewrite this problem as 7v over 3 equal to 3 over 5. So in module 4, we talk about cross product. When you see two fractions equal to each other, you can always use cross product. So we can say 7v times 5, which will give me 35v, set it equal to, alright, multiply diagonally, 3 times 3 is 9. So I get the same thing, 35v equal to 9. So divide both sides by 35, my answer, 9 over 35 again. Alright, just different technique on the same problem. Alright, so the method I just showed you on the previous problem, let me start off again with this positive 7 over 3v equal to 3 over 5. So the technique I showed you on the previous problem is simply saying, okay, divide both sides by the coefficient. That's the most direct, simple technique. So from here, you can decide to do it by hand or use the calculator. Either way, 7 over 3 divided by 7 over 3 give me positive 1v equals 3 over 5, let me do this by hand one more time. 3 over 5 is going to divide it by 7 over 3. Division of a fraction means times the reciprocal. So that would be 3 over 5 times 3 over 7. So since the two top 3 may not reduce with a 5 over 7, so we multiply side by side. So I get 9 over 35. Again, still. Or in a graphing calculator or your scientific calculator, you just got to see 3 over 5 was there already. So we key that in, parenthesis, 3 divided by 5, close it, divided by, open parenthesis, 7 over 3. I'm going to go ahead and convert to a fraction. Voila, 9 over 35, still the answer. Okay, so in this lecture video, we talk about how to solving linear equation involving with ax equal to c form. That means variable term on one side, the constant term on the other side. All right, that will conclude this video. Thank you for watching.